What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you your daily hail forecast. Sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. And you'll see them popping up throughout the show here, but they're also linked in the description to this video, so go ahead and check them out. Today, we got some wind going on out east in Florida and parts of the Appalachians area. And then also down in the southwest, we got some hail chances for you out there. Could also get some much needed rain, so that's some good news. Tomorrow should be fairly quiet. We still have some risks on the table, but they're going to be pretty scattered and low-key, so we'll take a look. And then getting back into the tropics, Lee is getting ready to take a northward turn, potentially headed up towards like the Nova Scotia area as well as parts of New England. So we'll talk about it all here in a second. Getting into right now, it's really nice if you're back behind that cold front, which is situated pretty much right here where all this cloud cover and these little rainy showers are. Now down in the southeast, it's going to be a little bit warmer, hasn't quite reached you yet, 89 in Atlanta, 91 in Houston, but again, back behind it, clear skies, and we're sitting in the 60s and 70s, so feeling much more like fall out this way. And pretty much any area along that front is where we're watching for our focus for storms today. We got that trough that's out through the Ohio Valley right there, and you know that's with that front is kind of bringing the disturbance that we need for those storms into today. So not a whole bunch of forecast instability, but enough to get the scattered risk that we're seeing today. Some through the desert southwest, and then a little bit more through Florida as well, but then up once you get a little bit further north towards like the eastern states, you know, not as much to get us some hail out there. But we do have enough storm activity out there to get us some wind. So that's kind of what we're looking at that way. So starting out with our desert southwest risks, we should see some storms popping up by around 2 p.m., gaining a little intensity out that way just to the west of I-25 there. Now, as those track off to the east, we'll see a little bit more coverage, a little bit more intensity, but storms get a little messier as well, so potentially transitioning more towards a wind risk for that. And then another band coming through the Phoenix, Tucson area late into the overnight through tomorrow morning. So a few waves of thunderstorms out that way. Then we're watching Florida as well as parts of the east to see storm activity by around 5 p.m. Starting to see those storms pop up through the Florida Peninsula as well as out through, like pretty much along and ahead of that cold front there through Virginia and North Carolina. And we'll start to see things pick up a little bit out that way into the overnight. Just some storms here and there, and then moving pretty much off the coast by the late overnight, early morning hours for you guys as well. So that brings us to our hail forecast. Going to pretty much lock it in with the southwest as well as Florida for our risk today. And again, leaving out the southeast, we're going to see more of a wind risk there, and we'll talk about that in a second. But quarters to half dollars possible pretty much from Phoenix all the way eastward into Las Cruces, New Mexico. Tucson, you guys are in it as well. And it's going to be very intermittent, sporadic hail with that gets up to severe limits. Could see a lot of small hail into tonight, heavy rain, as well as some gusty winds. Kind of a similar deal for Florida from Jacksonville into Orlando and a little bit south. Could potentially get up to half dollars today, but those are going to be pretty scattered. Wind might be a little bit more prevalent into this next 24 hours through the southwest as well as parts of the east. So again, that whole area here from Phoenix to Las Cruces and now just south of Albuquerque here could see those high winds with that cluster of storms that's going to be making its way through after 2 p.m. Then for Florida, looking pretty much from, far southern Georgia all the way down south of Orlando to see those high winds, and of course talking about northern Georgia all the way up through Pennsylvania to get some gusts up to 60 miles an hour with those scattered storms that pop up along that cold front passing through. Then tomorrow, I'm going to look at a little round of scattered activity through the New Mexico-Texas border, getting a little bit more intensity, but not much more coverage by around 6 p.m. So super scattered, but we could potentially have some hailers in there by around 6 p.m. Then everything kind of tracks eastward, maybe get some wind and some heavier rain for the Lubbock area, and then you're kind of done. Then into the northeast, it's going to be a little pocket of storms here, popping up around noon in the Connecticut-Boston area, get that band headed out, and then we'll see a little bit more stuff forming along and maybe a little bit behind it for severe storms before it quickly moves off the coast. So it's going to be pretty brief for you guys in New England, but you got that chance for severe weather up there as well. So for hail, looking at Texas and New Mexico, of course. So if you're from Tucumcari down into Midland, Odessa, that's where our risk will be into tomorrow for, again, quarters to $50. Just not a whole lot of instability going on right now. But for wind, we got New England as well as Texas for our wind risk. So again, that same area out eastward into Lubbock could potentially see high winds into tomorrow. And then that very brief round of storms that goes from mostly Boston, but there's a chance for New York and Albany with anything that forms initially for tomorrow. So now jumping into the tropics real quick, and then we'll leave guys for the rest of your Tuesday. But we got Margot. Not going to show Margot's track. It's just headed up into the central Atlantic. Not really expected to do much, but it is a hurricane now. So we got Hurricane Margot making her way up north. And then Lee, which is now a Category 3 storm, and again has just been creeping off to the, I guess, west, and now is starting to make that west-northwestward turn and potentially move off to the north. So it should accelerate a little bit once it gets sucked up into that jet stream, but right now there's really nothing keeping it from just moving at a crawl towards the Bahamas here, and should skip just to the north of that. Then lastly, we got a little area disturbance here, just some general collected clouds that could potentially form into the next tropical depression in the next 5 days or so, and we'll take a look at that. But for now, here's Lee, 115 miles an hour on this Category 3 storm, and again, it's just been slowly creeping up that way. Should start to move a little quicker once it moves up north, becoming a Category 1 by around Friday. So should drop in intensity as it moves into those cooler waters, and we'll take a look at the conditions that are in that area once we get closer to it. But right now, should drop down in intensity to Cat 1 by around Friday, and then a potential to make a run at Nova Scotia and parts of Maine here near Halifax by around next Sunday. And again, we'll take a look at it all as it gets a little bit closer to, but it should be a subtropical low, so it should no longer be a hurricane by the time it makes its way up there at this point. So again, we're watching, but that is something to note if you guys are anywhere in that cone there for early next week. And then getting into that last disturbance here, it's really not looking like much right now in the central Atlantic, not a chance of development over the next 2 days, but as it tracks up to the west-northwest over the next 5 days, there is a low out there and it is trying to form, so you've got to get a little bit of time. Once it tracks out that way, should have had enough time to potentially collect itself together and become that next tropical depression. So watching that, 70% chance of development over the next 7 days, and we'll keep you updated on that as well as everything else here. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video, and smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And then, of course, stay tuned to our stories. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and scan the QR code above me or click the link in the description to this video for access to our products. Or if you have questions, give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.